All right, everybody, let's jump in and get going. I want to say thank you for being here. As we wrap up 2024, we're coming towards the end of the year. I was thinking about what it is that's going to make 2025 different. And, I think we're getting this class action lawsuit behind us. Interest rates are kind of settling in. It's the new normal. We're not dropping to 2% again. And as you're recording on, Taylor, and I think that when we look at where we are and where we want to go, there's a big difference in mindset. And if you're okay being the same as you've been in 2024, then this probably isn't the right webinar. I want to talk about how do we bust it open and go back to a frenzy in our business. How many of you want the frenzy back? Like you want the madness of doing deals every day and all things lining up and needing more help. And like, I miss the frenzy. I want the frenzy in the business. And the only way that I know how to make that happen is to create it. We can't sit on the sidelines and hope that the market changes. We have to change our activities in the market that we have to create the frenzy that we want around our business. Does that make sense? I was listening to a broker the other day. Let me share my screen with you. I was listening to a big brokerage talk about what's going on in the marketplace and what they were doing different, what they wanted their agents to do. And this is literally what they said. The CEO was in front of all their agents, and they were giving them this plan to be able to survive, and they called it their top 10 survival skills for agents. Okay, just the title of this drives me nuts. Like, I'm not in the business of surviving. I'm in the business of thriving. I want to dominate and take market share and grow. I don't want to survive. And so they said, you got to expect longer hours. You got to market better. You got to set bigger goals. You got to go to the office. And then the CEO said, and it might be a good time to have a backup plan. Are you freaking kidding me? Like, how many of you have a backup plan? This is my backup plan. Failure is not one of my options here. There is no backup plan. This has to work. Anybody else with me on this? Like, you can raise your hands, or like, there is no backup plan. Find a support system. I don't need therapy. I need work. And, become a local expert, stay positive, take some more classes. I mean, I just think to myself, are you kidding me? Like, the kind of leadership we need today is not the kind of leadership that says, go get a backup plan and take more classes. We need actionable things that we can do in our business that will make a difference right now to put money in our pockets. My boat runs on gas, not on thanks. I need real money coming in that makes a difference. I don't know if you know this. Average realtor makes about $54,000 a year. Agents that have been in business for 16 years or more average $85,000. Are you kidding? How many of you could survive on that? Like, there's no way Dave could have a new jacket every day that's a Christmas jacket if he only made $54,000 a year, Dave. You wouldn't be able to up your clothing game like that. A little bit of fun with that. Now, I don't know if you know this, for those of you that are thinking about a backup plan, the average Taco Bell manager makes between $56,000 and $75,000. So if real estate's not working out for you, there always is Taco Bell. And they make as much as the average realtor. Greatness is predictable, but so is average. And we can look at what you're doing in your life and in your business, and we can predict what the income is going to be. You want to have a massive income in 2025, guys? The only way that I know how to get there is to take massive action. We cannot just take little small incremental steps of what we always have done and hope that we have some massive result. We have to do things different, and we have to do them in a massive way. How many of you, I want you to go in the chat box and just give me this answer, are ready to have a big, massive change in your business in 2025? How many of you want something big, massive? Let's go in there. I'm going to open up my chat. And Tammy, thanks for saying yes. But what does that look like? Define massive impact. Dave gave me a hell yeah. Let me have a hell yeah. What does that mean? So define that for me. So Jody, what does it mean to have a massive change in your business? Does it mean make an extra 100,000? Does it mean go from 500 to a million? Does it mean go from 1 million gross to 1 million net? Put it in the chat box and just kind of tell me what a massive impact would be. What would be a big difference for 2025 that you would go, I've really done something special? Thanks, Tammy. 300,000 gross. Tammy, is that a month or a year? A year. Okay. Now, why would I say a month versus a year? Why would I ask her that question? The reason I ask that is because there's people that make 300,000 a month. They just focus on different activities, and it's totally doable. I'm going to talk more about that. Brittany says I got to double at my current production, and I want to and want to grow my name. Okay, go from 16 closings to 35 in 2025. Okay, that's a no-brainer. I'm going to help you with that, Brittany, on this call today. Viva says I want to get 6 figures and get in a routine. I want to take action. And I love that and have more consistency. Jody says I want to go. I'm looking to sell 24 houses in 2025. Jody, are you just part-time or are you full-time in real estate? And the reason I ask that question is because 24, like if you're in full-time real estate and you're only selling 2 houses a month, I'm going to ask you this question. What in the hell do you do all day? You're only selling 2 houses a month. Come on, Jody.
So, I mean, so I own rental properties that I manage myself, and then we also fix and flip homes and stuff too. So
It's
yeah,
not your full-time job.
it's not my only, yes.
And I love that you're in the focus of building wealth. Like you're buying real estate and you're investing in income property. Now, managing your own properties is a $20 an hour activity. And I can't take you to where you're making millions of dollars if you spend any of your day doing $20 an hour activities. And so let's rethink that. And let's figure out how do we get somebody in place to do some of those activities that you do, because nobody can do it as good as you, and they're your properties. And so you love them and you want to nurture them and take care of them. But I want you to know that we can delegate that. Okay. And I say that with the smile on my face. And I want you to know that you're normal. Most entrepreneurs feel the way you do, but your next level, I'm going to give you some ways of looking at the world here in a minute that are going to change the way you operate. And I'm going to cause you some pain, because I believe that pain is a greater motivator than the anticipation of pleasure. Only massive action produces massive results. Only if we go big can we get something different. So I'm going to stop my share for a second because I want you to see my face big as life in front of you, and I want to see all your faces. Okay, so when you do your business plan, and a bunch of you have written your goals in here. I want to do 7 deals in 2024. I'm running around like a chicken with their head cut off. I wear lots of hats. I have my mom hat on. I have my spouse hat on. I got my dad hat on. I'm a coach hat. We have all these things that we do in our life, and they pull us in all these directions. But we're in real estate because we want to make money. So I'm going to give you a strategic plan, and I want everybody to write down like an unachievable goal. What would be a financial goal to you that if you did it, you would feel like, oh my gosh, that's unbelievable. Like Shelly says, $2 million in gross closed income. Like if you made $2 million in GCI, would that be like game changing for anybody? Okay. So put that number down. So if you made $2 million, if it's $1 million, I don't care what your number is. 500,000 might be a big number. Okay. So I want you to think about this. If you put on your 3-year strategic plan that you're going to get to $500,000 in income, you'd feel like, okay, I have 3 years to get there, right? What if I told you that, okay, so Dave, come off mute for a minute. Let's have a little dialogue. You and I have a conversation. You okay with that? All right, so Dave, what market are you in?
Seattle.
In Seattle. Oh, awesome. You a Seahawks fan?
I am. I try.
Okay, I'm sorry. I mean, I just want to apologize in advance. No, I'm just kidding. They're a fun
Why
team.
is that?
They're a fun team to watch because I like the Raiders, and so I know I'm just saying that it's a problem.
Well, I apologize to you.
I know, a bunch of gangsters, but it's who you like, right? It's who you love. Now, I want you to think about this for a second. What would be your best year in real estate?
Well, Verl, I've been an agent for 10 months, so I guess this is my best year in real estate.
Okay, great. So you've been in business for 10 months. So 2025, what's your big hairy goal?
My big goal for 2025, I'm semi-retired, so I'm looking to do 12 deals 2025. And in Seattle market, that's not a bad GCI.
Okay, so 12 deals. Semi-retired, meaning you don't need to work or you don't want to work? Money doesn't matter to you anymore?
Don't need. I did 20 years in the military, so I get a pension there.
Good
And
for you, and
then,
thank you.
yeah, and before I got into real estate, I did 18 years as a sales manager, construction sales. So really my plan when I got into real estate was, the money that I make, I'm just going to turn around and reinvest it.
Love that. You can reinvest it, you can give it back, you can make a difference in other people. I had one of my clients ask me one time, Dave, this is the guy up in Minneapolis, and he was out door knocking, and it was like 5 below. And he had finally hit 7 figures, and then his wife got really sick and they had a new baby. And he said to me, Verl, when's enough enough? I love that question. When's enough enough? And I had to think about that personally. And for me, it was when I had my retirement funded, all my kids' college and education and weddings were paid for, and I have 6 kids, so that's a lot. And I've given away everything else, and there's nobody else that needs anything. And so for me, there's a lot of work to be done. And so for me, and having enough and having stability and security is why we really work, but then really making a difference in the world. All right, so Dave, I'm not gonna push you to do better or more, because everybody has to define what they want their lifestyle to look like. And so you're not trying to kill yourself in real estate. You want to have a good lifestyle. You've worked your entire life to get to where you are. Now you want to enjoy it. And so if your number's 12, your number's 12, and I want you to intentionally do 12. If you ended up doing 24, would that be a problem?
You know what? Possibly. I'm actually reading a book right now. You may be familiar with The One Thing, by
Yeah,
Gary Keller.
sure, I've read that.
And yesterday's one of the chapters yesterday was about a balanced life. And I've been down that road, both in the military and in sales prior to real estate, where I did a boatload of hours and I wasn't home and didn't see family. And now I'm in a position where I don't have to do that. My mentor here, works his butt off, and tells his family that he'll take Sundays off, and he doesn't. He makes a grip of money, but at what cost?
Yep.
So that's kind of where I'm at.
So when I do strategic planning, let me show you what that looks like. When I do strategic planning with people, and everybody can look at this, I always ask, what do I want my life to look like in 5 years, not my business? So if you look at number 2 right there, it's what do I want my life to look like? I want you to define it. I want to be traveling. I want to be able to spend more time with my children. I want to define that. I want to have X number of money coming in and residual income from properties that I've invested in. So I say, what do I want my life to look like? I believe in strategically planning your life and then building a business that supports a lifestyle, not building a business that becomes your lifestyle. And Dave, you just gave me the example of someone who promises but doesn't execute, right? On lifestyle, I'm all about the lifestyle. I can't even begin to tell you how important that is to me. So I think that it's family, faith, friends, fun, and fitness all have a massive impact on your finances. And what most people do is they focus on finances at the expense of the other 5. And they are non-negotiables for me. And so understanding that, and I'm going to go to anybody else on the call, and thank you for participating with me, Dave. I want you to think about your big, hairy goals. And it could be Jody or whoever, anybody who wants to play with me that's put their numbers in there. I want you to think about this. If your big, hairy goal, let me see, Jody, did you put yours on there? Did you put yours in the chat? Kelly did. Shelly did. 5 listings a month. Shelly, I love that. Where's Shelly Davis? Raise your hand, Shelly. There you are. Shelly, I love that. Okay, so have you ever done 5 listings a month?
No.
Okay, I love that you put that as a big hairy goal. You want to play for a minute? I'm gonna show you how to do it.
Sure.
I'm gonna have you get there. Okay, so in order to get 5 listings a month, how many listing appointments do you have to go on?
I'm pretty good at closing listing appointments. I'm gonna guess like my worst month of listing appointments, what did I get? I would have to go on 8 listing appointments a month in order to get 5 listings a month. And especially
Right.
if I'm, focusing on my probate and trust business. The only thing that really derails me there is when the client has already hired an attorney and the attorney has some bug up their butt that they want to use somebody they know in real estate.
I know that happens, right?
Yep.
Okay, but let's just say you're not as good as you think you are, and it takes 10.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Okay, because you're gonna have to go out with more strangers if you're gonna do 5 a month. You're gonna have to have a lot of prospecting going on there. So you have to go on 10 appointments. Now I'm gonna work backwards into your number. To go on 10 appointments a month, how many is that a week?
2.2.
Well, let's just do 3 a week. Should we just do 3?
Sure.
So the way that you
You're
measure,
making me work hard.
I know,
Sorry,
I just
I'm
want you
just
to,
joking with you.
I'm gonna frame this in a way that you're gonna love me or hate me.
Sure.
So 3 appointments a week. One of the things that just happened to your goal is that if we do 3 appointments a week, that means we're doing 12 a month. Now we're listing 6 instead of 5.
Right.
And so we just increased your number without even pretending. Okay. So now we go on 12 appointments. We end up listing 50% of them. We get 6 listings a month. 6 listings a
Okay.
month. And what's your average income per listing?
So our average sales price is $2 million. And so, I'm looking at, let's say, let's go
12
low
million
and
a
say 60,000 per property. And if I'm doing 6, then I'm at 360. If I'm doing 5, I'm at 300,000. 60 times 5 is 300,000.
Okay. All right. So let me give you a question. What if, are you seeing my screen? Am I sharing my screen?
No, you're not. We're seeing your
Everyone do
face.
your numbers like I'm doing with Shelly, okay? So you write your numbers down. I'm doing 12 listing appointments to get 6 listings a month. She's going to make 300 to 360,000 a month in income. Is that game changing for anybody? Like David, are you looking at that and going, holy crap, that's a big number in it? Okay, so now I'm there, and I'm gonna say, okay, let's have a little bit of fun with this.
You're not
So-
sharing your screen though.
I'm not sharing my screen. Yeah, but I'm getting ready to. Okay. So if we set that as a long-term goal, it's one thing. But if we said, what if, okay, as a CEO of a business that's 3 times 12 is what, 3.6 million a year. If you're the CEO of a $3 million GCI business, what would you tell the CEO of the business that's running your business today that you have to stop doing in order to hit that 12 listing appointment goal? What are the things that you would tell yourself that you have to stop doing if you're actually going to hit that number?
So I have to stop chasing bright, shiny objects.
Oh yeah, big one.
I have to be very comfortable in my skin. Like everybody says, I need to be on social media, and I get all of my deals without being on social media. So do I really need to be on social media? And how much time do I need to spend on that? And so I think, that's maybe one of the bright, shiny objects that I'm chasing, but I think I just need to be comfortable in doing my business well the way I do my business. In other words, when I'm getting listings, what am I doing? Who am I talking to? How am I succeeding? And then just hunker down and do only that. Let somebody else do the paperwork. Let somebody else do the marketing. Let somebody else hire the photographer and meet them at the property. Let somebody else go put my signs up. Let somebody else work with the escrow company and make sure that everything's happening the way it's supposed to. So in other words, I need to just hunker down and focus on talking to people who want or need to sell their property and do only that.
Okay. So think about this for just a minute. You just made a list of all these things, right? That's actionable. But why haven't you done it? Why haven't you outsourced all those things? Why haven't you let somebody else do that? And I don't care if you do social media or not. I've got people who make 7 figures that do social media. I've got people that make 7 figures that don't. You have to design the kind of business that fits who you are. You don't have to be someone you're not. Let me change your perspective. What instead of if you had to do it in a year, what if you had to accomplish it in 6 months? What if you had to hit your 12-month goal in 6 months, how would you,
Oh my God.
how would you work differently?
I mean, I literally would have to just offload everything other than talking to people and showing up for listing appointments.
Yeah. Let me give you one more painful thought, and that's this. What if at the end of 6 months, one of your kids or your grandkids' lives depended on it? How would you work differently? By the way, these are my grandkids. They just got their Christmas pajamas
It's adorable.
from grandma. Isn't that a cute picture? But like, if somebody said to you that one of your kids or your grandkids had some rare illness and the only way to cure it was for you to hit 100% of your income goal in the next 90 days, is there any way you would fail?
Oof. Boy, I would need a lot of help though, in order to do that. I just, it boggles my mind to even consider that option. So maybe I'm going to be really mean. I'm going to say, so maybe it's a good thing I don't have any kids.
You can borrow some of mine. I have enough for both of us. Okay, so
Yeah, I'm like looking at that and saying, Beryl, I don't know. At this point in my life, I do not know how I would create that level of business in 90 days.
is there any way you could do it by doing the same things that got you to where you are right now?
Absolutely not.
It's not physically possible. So what I'm going
Correct.
to ask you to do is, we have a tendency just in our lives to look at the past to frame what we work on today. We look at all the things we've done in the past and we decide how we're going to behave today based on those experiences. And my challenge to all of you is this, is that our past is something we can learn from, and we can be grateful for it. But if we use it to frame our future, we'll stay exactly where we are, Jody. If you want to get to some crazy number and you want to really have massive success in your business or life, however you define that, right, Dave? However you define that success, we cannot get there by looking back. We have to look forward and say, what has to be going on in our business and life in order for us to be able to get there? And what do we have to change and focus on today? What are you going to do different? So, how do you say your name? Is it Shelly?
It's Shalee,
Shelly?
but
Okay.
yeah.
Well, that's a lot of hyphens and E's.
Yes, it is. It's a lot of
So,
hyphens.
okay,
And
so
E's.
Shelly, so think about this. So, whether it's your kids or whether it's a spouse or a niece or nephew or
Right.
somebody in a church group or a youth group that you care about, somebody who you know you're not going to let down, because you won't do it for yourself. But I
Right.
know that you'll work differently for somebody else. You'll move the heaven and earth to take care of somebody you love or someone you care. And sometimes it's a pet. Like, you'll do whatever it takes. So that's how we need to behave. We have to act and work like our life depends on it. And Jody, when you're thinking about what's going on in your life every day, and Aviva, when you look at all the things you have going on that cause you stress, if you eliminate the things that don't give you the result that you want and only focus on those things that give you your result, it changes the way we work every day, and it gives you permission to let some things go. You have to give yourself permission to let it go, because in the big scheme of things, it's not what matters. And so when we really figure out what matters to us in our business and our life, that's when we start making decisions differently. I used to believe that, I'll give you an example. So my kids, 3 of my married kids work for me at Workman Success. And my son said to me, you've got to do more events. You've got to be more at more events where people see you more often. And I'm like, I'm only going to the events if I'm speaking, because events drive revenue, but only if I'm speaking at the event. And Nate says to me, yeah, but I know that's what you used to always say, but let me tell you why it works if I'm going forward. I was framing my events drive revenue if I'm speaking based on 20 years experience in the business. And he's coming in as a millennial, as a young lion, who's saying there's a new way of doing events that can create opportunities if you work it this way. but I was unwilling to change because of my past, and he's trying to get me to go to where my future is. So I was making decisions on my previous experiences instead of being open to what the future might look like. So I'm just going to ask you to be open to what the future looks like, and let's see if we can make some changes. All right. So now I'm going to give you a couple of systems that I want you to work. Okay. Shirley, you ready for the first system? 8651. I'm going to show you how to close 86 deals a year working with 50 people 1 hour a day. If we added 86 deals a year to your business, would that make a difference?
Absolutely.
Okay. And this is for everybody. Kelly, you in? 86 deals a year. You ready for this? Maybe you're already doing it. Here we go. I study greatness. And so I like to find people who are doing business better than me, and I want to copy them. And I went out and flew out to Louisville, Kentucky, and I met a guy named Mike Parker. And Mike was showing me that he had this group of 50 people that every month he would call and have a personal conversation with. And I looked at the deals he was closing. He was closing between 75 and 85 deals a year, sometimes 90, working with just this top 50 on referrals only. And so I believe that anything you do 3 times, you have to create a system for it. Systems for everything. And so we created a system called 8651, and it's the ultimate system for generating 86 referral closings a year. So you make a list of the top 50 people who are most likely to give you 1 referral a year. Is that a good number?
Okay.
You have 86 people to give you 1 referral a year. You have 1 personal touch with all 50 of them every single month. A personal touch is defined as a face-to-face meeting. Let's go get coffee. We hang out as couples. These could be family members, friends, people in your church group, people in your old military group, people in your AA group, whatever, whoever you hang out with. Real estate comes up all the time. You don't have to get all their referrals. All you have to do is get 1 a year from them. They have to commit to give you a minimum of 1 referral a year to qualify to be in your top 50, and that you're going to let them know you're going to reach out to them. So Jody, 50 people, that's a high-performing group, and I'm going to give you a tracker. And this is the tracker that we use where we track the number of touches that we have every single month with all 50 of them. And we want 1 personal touch with all 50 of them every single month. What do you think will happen if you reach out to 50 people a month and say, hey, Dave, this is Bro. I'm just calling to make sure I'm staying at the front of your mind. Here's a new thing happening in real estate with interest rates. Here's how we're helping people with new construction. You give them some new ideas or things you can help them with threats in the market. I want you to serve and not sell. I don't care if you sell anything, just give them things of value that will help them. So you position yourself as an expert. What do you think the result of having 1 personal touch with 50 people who know they're on your list to give you 1 referral a year? What do you think the result of that will be?
Probably more than 1 referral a year.
Way more. You'll get 6 and 8 out of some, you'll get 10 out of others, you get 3 out of some, and you'll have some that don't give you any. At the end of the year, in the ebook that I give you, it's called the 8651 ebook. It teaches you what to do with them, what kind of conversations to have every month. And at the end of the year, we're going to hold a client appreciation event, and we're going to invite everybody that gave us at least 1. If they didn't give you 1 referral, they don't get an invitation, and you have to replace them with somebody else on your list. And every year, we're going to update that list until I've got 50 people that are giving us a minimum of 1 referral a year. And by the way, there's another tab on the spreadsheet where you track all the referrals that come in. It's unbelievable the number of people that come in from working your top 50 when you do it on a regular basis. It is a game changer. It's 0 cost lead generation. You don't believe you have 50 people? I'm going to tell you, get your phone out, start with the A's, and then your B's, and then your C's. Dave, you'll have a blast with this because you have so many relationships from the businesses you've been in, the military and all that. You don't even have to need a referral from them. If a referral comes in, you don't want it, just refer it out. You can give out 86 referrals to other agents who want the business, make 25 or 35% off those referrals and not even have to work with the client, right? Just build the relationships, keep people. These are people you already like. Just have conversations with them. The business will take care of itself, and you're going to find lots of opportunities to serve people. You can generate 100% of your income goal without doing a single transaction, Dave. How about that? No lifestyle change in that. All you're doing is talking to people you like every month. Like, and if you find yourself not wanting to call them, take them off your list. They're not going to refer you anyway. They probably feel the same way about you. If you don't want to call them, don't put them on your, I don't care if it's your mother. If you don't want to call her, take her off your list. Like, these are people that you like, know, and trust that are willing to give you 1 referral a year. Josh May, I met Josh. Josh is out of Michigan. He's awesome, Grand Rapids area. And he was working so hard that he was doing it. He was the guy Dave described earlier. That was like working all the time, never seeing his kids, missing their ball games, things like that. He's an adoptive father with adopted kids, just a phenomenal family. And he said that I was stressed out. He was making $650,000 a year, came into coaching because he wanted his life back, not because he wanted to make more money. Within 5 years, he's at 1.5 million and no longer working with buyers or sellers. We helped him build a 7-figure team, and his focus was on putting all of his effort, instead of buying leads and working with strangers, into developing working relationships. And now Josh doesn't have to list or sell houses if he doesn't want to, and he spends way more time coaching his kids, being involved in their sports, doing the things that matter more in life. If you work the system becomes duplicatable in your business, whether it's individual or whether it's with a group. Let me give you another system. You heard me say anything you do 3 times, we create a system for it. Here's your next system. This is called 3-2-1-1s. Starting today, I want you to go into your database. I don't care what you use it as database. I want you to call 3 of your past clients or people in your sphere. And I don't want you to sell them anything. Like, can I reiterate? Can I talk about serving, not selling? The consumer today does not want to be sold. I don't want to be. Do anybody here love salespeople calling you? Like, none of us do. I don't want to be sold. What I want to do is I want to develop relationships with people who care, and I want them to be able to. I want to be able to have people that genuinely are interested in a need and have something that can solve a problem for me. And if I know they care and I know they're genuinely interested, we'll do business together. And if not, then we like each other anyway. I want you to serve, not sell. I cannot say this enough. We serve regardless of opportunity. We don't serve so we get the opportunity. We serve the community and the market and our friends and our families because we care about them. And I promise you, if you take the serve mentality, your business will take care of itself. So we call 3 past clients, and it's how you doing, how's your family? I want to do a better job staying in touch. We prospect every day until we add 2 new people to our database. And then we learn 1 new thing with our technology. And there's so many things we can learn. And then I want you to give 1 outbound referral every week from your business. So we're going to do 3 past clients every day. We're going to prospect till we find 2 new customers. We're going to learn 1 new thing. We're going to give 1 outbound referral every single week. Now, I want you to think what happens at the end of 30 days. You will have contacted 90 past clients. You will have prospected out 60 new customers, and you will have learned 30 new things and given out 4 referrals. Any chance your business gets smaller or does worse when you're having these kinds of touches? That's just after 1 month. After just 2 months, 60 days, you will have talked to 90 past clients. Is that right? Yeah, 3 times 3 is 90. And you will have 90 days times 2. You will have prospected out 2 a day. That's 30 a month. That's 60 a month. It's 180 in 3 months. That's a big number. You will have learned 90 new things in your technology, and you will have given out 12 referrals. When I think about the numbers of this, what happens is everybody in your database gets contacted or called. We constantly have new people coming in. We're prospecting till we add new people to the database, and we're constantly thinking about who can I give a referral to. As you're thinking this way, it starts to become part of your DNA, and it becomes natural and easy to do. If you don't know how to prospect, or you don't know how to, like, lead generation is a non-factor in real estate. You know that we can generate leads at any level we want. Shirley, do you use RedX?
I am actually signed up to learn how to use it. I'm going to do that 12-week thing with Tyler. So I have the RedX package. I'm not currently using it, but it's at the top of my list of things to do in the new year. I've been building my plan of how I'm going to achieve my goal, and one of them was embracing RedX.
Good. Well, let me tell you something. Just do top 50, work your 3-2-1s, and then use RedX. Like, if you do those 3 things, you'll hit your numbers. There's no reason you can't get your 12 listing appointments a month. You can get it just out of RedX. Like, RedX does expired leads. They do, like when you get a
Right.
listing, you can get geographic farming and get all the names and phone numbers around all the houses in the neighborhood. It pulls up all the for sale by owner leads. It pulls up the pre-foreclosure leads, notices of default. I can get absentee owners. They have a whole ad builder program and a social media thing. They have a power dialer called Vortex. Like RedX is a power tool, and many of our agents use that. There's another power tool that we use that is called Fellow. Have you heard of Fellow?
I have not.
Oh my gosh. This is like your database on steroids. Fellow is, it integrates pretty much with any database. You plug it into your database and it does predictive analytics on the behavior of the people that are already in your database. I can tell you how many people are doing activities that put them in a most likely to list their home category. And then it tells me when they do an action. And one of the most painful things that Fellow does, I would say, is that it tells you all the people in your database that do a real estate transaction with somebody else because you didn't follow up. Like, it's brutal. And so it helps you engage your existing database. It helps you automate with campaigns, and then it helps you convert them into listings with real people doing behaviors that move them up in the process. The whole concept is to use one-to-many technology. When the tech, like I have 30 or 40,000 people in a database, I can't manually work it all. And so we have to put systems in place that do it for us. So when we make phone calls, we talk to people, it makes sense. Both RedX and Fellow have different pricing structures. I'll give you a link, Viva, that you can go in and you can play with them. It depends on what services you want and the size of your database and things like that. And you can buy one piece a la carte, or you can buy whole packages. It depends on the size of business. I'm going to tell you this. Now, if I were your coach, I would say that we lead with revenue, not expense. And until you're working your 3-2-1s and you have your top 50 and you're really doing those, there's zero cost lead generation. You don't get to turn on RedX and you don't get to turn on Fellow, because we're not going to lead with expenses. We're going to lead with revenue. And so we want you to work your top 50 and do your 3-2-1s first. When they start generating the cash, then we can reinvest in the next thing. Matter of fact, in your coaching contract, if you ever come into coaching with Workman, we make you sign an agreement that says you're not going to spend $400 in your business without clearing it with your coach. Because we want to do zero cost lead generation and plug all those holes first before we ever start spending money. How many of you have spent money on things that didn't work? And it's not because they didn't work, it's because you didn't work it. Like it's your fault. You know it didn't work because you didn't work it. Like, we all have stuff like that. So if we're going to spend money on things, we are going to do it strategically, and we're going to do it with coaching advice. Okay. The next thing is this. When you start working your top 50 and you're doing them every single month, you're working your top 50. When you start working your 3-2-1s and you're calling 3 past clients, you're prospecting every day to add 2 new people, what happens is you start building momentum in your business. And when you start building momentum in your business, something has to give, because you realize that you are spending more time at work than you want to. You have to decide what you're going to focus on. Let me give you your numbers. Here's the numbers you need to be aware of. Number one is this, is that every listing that you generate should close 1.5 buy-side transactions. And so, Shali, if you're doing 5 listings a month, that means you're doing 7 buy-side transactions. Is there any way you can do all that yourself?
Nope,
Nope. And so we know.
not with my lifestyle.
Nope. Well, because you want a lifestyle.
Yeah, and I'm old enough to take advantage of the fact that I not only want it, but I can afford it. And
Yes.
so if
So
that
we-
means that I have to, I'm a firm believer, I would rather refer out 100 deals than do 10.
Well, I appreciate that, but I would rather see you control the outcome. When you refer it out, you don't get to control the outcome. But when you build your team, you get to control the outcome, because you build a team that delivers a high level of service that protects your brand equity in the marketplace, that blows clients away with their expertise. And so we build teams. And so with every listing you generate, we get 1.5 buy sides. For every listing we generate, if we do it correctly, we generate 6 to 8 buyer leads a month. And then every 25 leads that come in, we add a buyer's agent. So we systematically add people as we generate opportunities. And so when you're doing the kind of business we're talking about, we just build a team around it. Like, how many businesses are you familiar with that are wildly successful, that operate as companies of one? Like, name one. Dave, how
Can't think of
important
one.
was in the military? How important are teams?
Very important.
Like on a scale of 1 to 10?
I'd probably say 10.
Yeah, right. Like everybody knows their role, they're clearly defined, but we're all working collectively to accomplish something, and failure is not an option. And we prepare for it, we practice for it, we have each other's backs, right? Being part of a team is a big deal. I like working with people that have served in the military because they understand the concept of we're better together as opposed to being by myself, right? I have a friend who's a retired Navy SEAL and 25 years in SEAL Team 6, 20 years in SEAL Team 6, and as a senior leader. And when he talks about teams, like the way he views and looks at teams, when you ask him, was the mission a success? How do you know it was a success? You know what he says? We count fingers and toes. Like we want to know that our brothers came back, or our sisters came back. That's how we know success. That's what it means to be a team. So I want you to think about that concept in business now. And a team is where you bring a group of people together that have common goals and you buoy each other up by helping them get everything they want. A great team leader isn't somebody who hires people so they can make money off them. A great team leader is someone who hires people so they can develop them to make great livings for their families. So I serve my team. They're not there to serve me. You understand the difference of that? I'm there to help my people be successful and have a wildly successful life. And if I do that, I'll get everything I want as a leader. My job is not to put them in a position where they make me money. It's to put them in a position where they earn money for their families. Okay. So that's why we build teams. We build teams because if your numbers don't reflect this, if you get a listing, but you're not getting 1.5 buy-side transactions, it's because you're not following up with your B and C leads. If you're not getting 6 to 8 leads off a listing, it's because you don't have time to hold them open and knock doors around your listings. You're not doing all of the things that we do to generate open houses on steroids. And if you don't have any buyer's agents, because you don't know how to hire them and develop them and train them, and so you avoid doing it, or you do it and you do it the wrong way, and it causes you more anxiety and grief than if you just did it yourself. And so you end up going back to the old habits that got you where you are, and it keeps you from growing. So teams matter. Team for me, when I look at why, what is it that causes some people to be wildly more successful than others? I believe it's not because they have more time. I believe it's because of how they manage themselves inside that finite resource we call time. There's no such thing as time management. We can't speed up or slow down the passage of time. All we can do, Jody, is manage our own behavior. Like, Jody, you don't have any more time than I do, right? We have the same amount of time in a day, but what we focus on determines what our outcome is. And is it possible that some of your current habits could be replaced with better habits? That's a mean question, but it's true. So at the beginning of every week, we teach our clients, we do this thing called My Perfect Week Scheduler, where we map out what a perfect week would look like. We first put in our non-negotiable activities. Date night with my wife. We've been doing that for 38 years as non-negotiable. I date my kids. We do things that, if my kids have a ball game or they have a recital or whatever, we do those things first. Then I put in my prospecting, money-making activities, and we do our huddles. Then we do the things that we schedule it first. And then we track using a daily success habits tracker what we actually do in 30-minute increments. So we plan what we're going to do, we track what we actually do, and we compare those two things. This is called a daily success habits tracker. Many of you have seen this before. You maybe have even downloaded it at a previous webinar, but you don't use it. You know why you don't use it? Because you don't really want to know. And if you started tracking what you did in 30-minute increments every day, you'd realize how little time you spend doing dollar productive activities. Isn't that true? So if I want you to think about this. If I track everything you did, if I knew how many calls it took to have a conversation, how many conversations it took to set an appointment, and we'd know every day what you had to do to get your 2 appointments. We just know. If you're making calls, but you're not getting appointments, we can coach you on what to say. If you're making calls and getting appointments, but you're not listing houses, then we can focus on listing presentations. What we do is we track all the things that generate a predictable result, and then we coach to where the gaps are. And so you set a goal of getting 61 points a day doing dollar productive activities. And every day what happens is it starts to become predictable. So I want you to imagine this is our coaching platform. And so I've got, 100 coaches, and we've got all these clients that are in here, and they're making 416,000 calls. They're making 90,000 contacts. They're setting 10,000 appointments. We know the numbers. When you start looking at these dials, calls, contact numbers, how much money did they make? 4.1 million, 2.9 million, 2.8 million, 2.4 million. Greatness becomes predictable. What we learned is it takes 201 appointments to get 55 buyer listing agreements signed. It takes 5 minutes for contact or conversation. It takes 18 conversations to set an appointment. We get an appointment every 90 minutes when we're prospecting. So that means that every 90 minutes, here's what it means to you in dollars. Oh, crap. Candace, where's my dollar slide? It's there. Oh, here it is. I'm on it. It says that every 90 minutes, if you're now you're left, who's that? Jody, were you up in Seattle? Is that you? Somebody said average sell price. Oh, yeah, Dave, $2 million average listing. Like every 90 minutes, if you get a listing, that's $10,500 every 90 minutes. That's $116 a minute when you're prospecting, or $7,000 an hour. Is it possible that some of the activities you focus on during your day don't return $7,000 an hour? Like, so what do you do with those activities? You get a system or you delegate them. That's it. We create a system that does it, or we let someone else do it. You cannot build wealth if you spend the majority of your day doing $20 or $25 an hour activities. You have to have things in your day, in your life, where you're leveraging time and leveraging money so it's earning when you're not working. And if you're not doing those things that create leverage, then you'll always be just chasing dollars. And I'm telling you what, it is tiring. So what's leverage? It's tools and technology moving towards the problem. This little triangle in the middle of this picture, that's called a fulcrum. And the way that a fulcrum works is the closer you move it to the problem, the greater leverage you have. Does that make sense? The further away from it, the problem becomes bigger. So by moving towards what we understand the problem is, we need help. That's when you start to create leverage in your business or in your life. And so if you're going to spend more time focused on dollar productive activities in 2025, what's one thing that you can do right now that you can make a commitment on that will move the needle the most? What is the one thing? And I love that you're reading the one thing, Dave. What's that one thing that will move the needle the most? What is that single activity? Viva says follow up on my leads. Okay, maybe. Might be. So the first thing is, what about build your top 50 list and start working it? Viva, I just gave you a system that is guaranteed to generate 86 closings a year, working with 50 people 1 hour a day, and it doesn't cost you anything. What if you just did that? Would that make a difference? Jody, come on. Okay, Tammy's in. Like, just do it. We all think about it, but we don't do it. You know what the difference between average and exceptional is? The exceptional do the basic fundamentals at a higher level that the average only talk about doing. Zig Ziglar talks about getting cooked in a squat, fixing to rise. You got to think bigger. You got to think bigger, and you got to live bigger. You got to think about the big, big picture, move it into a 90-day window, and work like someone's life depends on it. Give me that for 90 days, and it changes your outcome. Work your 86-51, do your 3-2-1s, and then look at dollar producing activities and spend time on those things. Let me give you this. Everybody download this. Here's your freebie. I'll give you the 86-51 ebook, and I'll give you the top 50 tracker. And inside that, you can fill out a form called Find My Fit, which basically tells us about who you are and where you are in your business and where you want to go. And if you'd like to have some help, or you want to have maybe somebody reach out to you, schedule a coaching consultation. Our business consultants are amazing. They're going to figure out where you are and where the gaps are, and then we can figure out whether or not we're a fit. I promise you this is that we're working way too hard for way too little. And you don't have to work that hard if you work on the right things and you focus on the right things. Remember that it's massive action that creates a massive result. Let me take the last few minutes we have today. We have 5 or 6 minutes together, and just open up the call for any question you might have. And Viva just signed up for coaching. Welcome to the family. What a great, did you just barely sign up?
No, a few days ago, Horn called me. So today, my first call with him.
Who's your coach?
Oh, it was supposed to be John Miller, I think, but I'm not
No.
connected with him yet.
John Miller's not a coach.
Oh, then I don't have a coach yet. Then I know Horn is calling me today again, he said.
Okay, well, you're going to get a call from a director of coaching that will schedule your first coaching call.
Okay.
And what they do is they really look at your business and where you are, and then they match you with someone who's the perfect fit.
Okay.
That will not allow you to buy into your own bull crap, and that will help you move forward. And it's really fun. It's like, it's going to be really hard, but just go for it. And
Okay.
I'm excited for you. What exciting time of your life.
I'm excited after this call, especially. I feel like I made the right call.
You got some clarity. Well, I'm glad you're here, and I'm excited for you.
Thank you.
Okay, questions from anybody? You guys, okay, as you come into, as we wrap up the year 2024, we're moving into 2025. This is your Ask World Anything. You can ask me anything you want to know, anything challenging you in your business, any problem you want to deal with. I'll give you the real coaching answer of how I would really deal with it or help you. You can go into your, oh, Tammy's in coaching too, came in last month. Congratulations, Tammy, welcome. So you just started. I love that you're on this journey with us.
Yeah, hopefully it makes me accountable for me not being accountable.
Oh, Tammy, can I help you with that right now?
What's that?
Accountability is a bunch of crap. And here, look at me. I'm looking at you. I'm looking right at you. Is it possible that if I wanted you to do something and you didn't want to do it, you weren't going to do it? Can I make you do anything you don't want to do?
Mm-hmm.
So stop acting like it's somebody else's job to hold you accountable. Accountability is bullcrap. All we can do is create an environment where you choose accountability. You have to choose it. I can't make you do it. Now, I can find out what your why is, and I can put my finger in the pain when you don't do the things that you say you're going to do. But poverty sucks. I've been there. I didn't like it. And if you want to have the next 5 years be better than the last 5 years, you have to choose accountability. It's not something someone's going to do for you.
Tell your coach that.
I'm telling you, because you choose it.
I guess so, but it depends when you come from a job situation to being like an independent person and working. It's different. Like my background is pharmacy, right? So I was in retail. I was
Okay.
expected to follow certain standard of operations that I followed, right?
Yep.
Now I'm like, okay, now I'm trying to do something independent. And all these years I paid money like for so many things, never took action and did it, that I've decided to put myself down this year and say, okay, I'm going to do it, but I have to take the action. That's why I said I have few leads that came in this morning. I've not done anything with them, and it's already 1 o'clock. I mean,
Okay,
2 o'clock in the afternoon.
All right. So let's play with that scenario for just a moment. First of all, the mindset of working for someone else and punching a clock and then doing the operational things that they say you have to do to get your paycheck. You do it so you'll get paid, right? Okay, so I am now the CEO of your business. I'm the chairman of your board, and you want to run a 7-figure company. Is that true? And you have to justify to me every day why I'm paying you $1 million a year based on the activities you focus on. Would I pay you $1 million a year to do what you're doing right now? I wouldn't? Then you'll never get it. You'll never make that kind of money. You have to behave as if you're worth it. Your value is determined by your actions. And so if you want to make $500,000 a year or $750,000 or $1 million a year, the only way to get there is to create your list of operational excellence and then follow the system. You know, one of the reasons you came into Workman is because I have a system for everything. We have daily success habits. We do your perfect week. We run your top 50. Those are all things that give you a predictable outcome. We know if you do these things, you'll be successful. There is no doubt. And so now what you've done is you've invested in it. And you've said, I'm spending my money, Tammy. When you spend money with Workman, dang it, it better work, right? Because it's not cheap. Like we don't attract people who don't want to do this. When I think about I got to work with a bunch of high-performing Olympians. We built a program called Team USA Coaching. And I met with John Neighbor, who had 4 gold medals and 3 silver medals in the Olympics as a swimmer. And I said, John, who do you coach? And John said to me, have you ever gone to the park and seen like a little kid being pulled through the park by a Labrador puppy, and that puppy's pulling him and the kid's holding on for dear life? I go, yeah, I got that visual. He goes, I coach that puppy. If I have to put meat in front of your nose and I have to drag you along, I don't have the energy for that. So you have to choose who you are going to be in this scenario. Do I have to motivate you and inspire you, or are you that hungry puppy that wants it? Do you really want it? Because if you want it, we have every tool and system to get you there, but you got to choose it. You just have to decide to stop using your past experiences as to why things won't work, and decide you're just going to follow the predictable systems that we know work. And if you follow them, if you'll follow them like relentlessly, perfect execution of basic fundamentals, you'll not only have success, but you're going to blow away what your biggest dreams were. I'm excited for you.
Right.
But Tammy, no one's going to hold you accountable except you. I'll hold you accountable.
I have a goal. I plan on retiring in 7 years, so.
Great. So every time you don't do something that your coach asks you to do, I call your plan bullcrap. You're not going to retire in 7 years. You're not going to have what you need. And you're going to be working at Walmart as a greeter in 7 years if you don't do the work. So will you do the work?
I am doing the work.
Good. And then it works.
Yeah, and I've organized my office, got rid of dead weight and put it away, and I'm ready for the next year.
Yep. I
and the
love
rest
that.
of this year.
Yep. Delegate everything. Okay. Rebecca says, will you put 3, 2, 1s? 3 past clients, prospect till you find 2 new customers, learn 1 new thing, give 1 outbound referral. 3, 2, 1, 1s. And Tammy and Viva, if you don't put your numbers in Workbench and you don't track your daily success habits, I will not help you, because I can't see where you're going so that I can coach to the gaps if you don't track the right things. You have to track it for me. That which gets measured gets done. So don't just say you're going to do it and prove it. And we are going to have an amazing 2025. I'm so excited. Like, I can't wait to see you in person and have you come up to me and tell me your story. Everybody else, go out and fill out the Find My Fit form. Thank you for hanging out with me today. Merry Christmas. Have a great holiday season. Enjoy your families. This is such a great time. But just remember, 2025 is the year where we stop doing things that we've done in the past and we shake it up and we focus on things of where we want to go instead of where we've been. Because you can't get to that new place focusing on what you've done in the past. We have to do things completely different. Bye, everybody. Thanks for being here. I appreciate all your time today.